There are a lot of people that have an opinion about RuneScape, and with opinions come assumptions. And a lot of those assumptions are actually very, very inaccurate, and some of them are actually quite stupid. So let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on guys? My name's Chevalric, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This might turn into a series if you guys do enjoy it, so definitely let me know in the comment section down below if you do. But we're going to be talking about RuneScape assumptions. There's a lot of assumptions about RuneScape that are not true, or some of them are actually really true. And this series, or if it will turn into a series, will not just be about ones that are just not true at all, but we'll also go over some that might actually be true. So if you have any, definitely leave it in the comment section down below, and if I see enough, I might make a follow-up video, especially if this video does well, because I did enjoy looking up some assumptions for this video, and we're going over some that I think are not true, and then again, it's still an opinion, so you could still not agree with me, and that's completely fine. If you're going to enjoy it, as I said, leave a like and let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the series ideas. Subscribe if you're new, and let's just get into this video. So what do I mean with assumptions in general? Well, just people saying things about RuneScape that are just true, or well, not true in this case, and I picked out about 5/6 of them, because some of them kind of fall within each other, that I just think are very stupid, and I see them a lot on the internet, and they're just not true at all. So, first of all, armor degradation. A lot of people think that when armor degradation is announced for a weapon or a piece of armor, it is bad, and you know, it costs a lot, and why should I be using the armor, or blah 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 blah. And in general, a rule of thumb that goes for armor degradation: if you cannot keep up with the armor degradation, you should not be using that armor. And then again, if you cannot keep up with armor degradation of a certain piece of equipment, how? Like, literally how? I've been using my Ceramic set. I recently had to replace it. I've done quite a lot of PVM, and I think in those hours of PVM, I probably made over 2 billion in gold. And I just then had to replace my Ceramic set, because I still use regular Ceramic, because tier 92 Ceramic, or is it tier 95 Ceramic? Just elite Ceramic is just more expensive and doesn't give that much better of stats. If I have the spare money, obviously I will buy it, but at the moment in time, I do not. So when it comes to Ceramic, it's like 20 mil set right now. So if you can't make 20 mil of set in about, I think it's like 40 or 50 hours of PVM, how? Like, literally how? What are you doing, my friend? So that assumption is not true. Next up is everyone hates Quest. There's a general consensus within the RuneScape community that no one likes Quest. That the only people that like Quest are the people that read the lore and, you know, enjoy that and go into detail and go read the extra things and blah blah blah. And sure, those people really enjoy Quest. They love the Quest. However, there's also a big group, including myself, that just doesn't mind doing quests. Look, I'd rather not do them. Like, they're not my favorite piece of content, but I don't mind doing them. I like zooming through some quests. I recently started my Iron Man, and I have to do a lot of quests on it, and it's quite enjoyable, because, especially on Iron Man, a lot of quests give a lot of good rewards. I understand that on the main, you don't want to be doing them, but still, go do them. Some of them do have some incredible unlocks and rewards, like for example the damage reduction at Chevalric because of the Twilight of the Gods quest, or the damage reduction of the Curse the Blackstone, which gives it in Elite Dungeon 1, 2 and 3. Things like that are amazing. How about the passive Ring of Vigor boost that you get from, I believe, Extinction? Incredible. Those are unlocks that are sick, and you know, sure, you could say they could come from other sources, but then again, a reward is also good content from a quest, in my opinion, especially if it fits in with the quest and if there's some higher requirements or some difficulty to the quest. And not everyone hates quests. There are just some people that just don't, you know, mind them, but don't love them. So I guess another one debunked, at least in my opinion, yet again. All just opinions. Next up, you can't do PVM without auras. You need auras. It's RuneScape, and sure, yes, let me clarify. Auras really do help. They increase DPS, they make it easier in certain situations, because you do more DPS, you soul split back more, so you heal more, so it's easier to stay alive at certain bosses, or you use Vampirism, or you use Pendants, or whatever you might be using, it helps. Yes, but you can absolutely do PVM without auras. And as a matter of fact, 99% of the PVM that I do, I don't use auras. And yes, should I use them? 100%. Yes, I should be using them. However, I just can't be asked. Like, I just don't. And, you know, I can use them at any point, and I'm used to taking out bosses without aura. So if I'm struggling at a boss, for example, and I can't take it out, I can always turn on that aura and, you know, get that extra boost and make it a little bit easier for myself. Sure, I still use auras like Sharpshooter or, you know, Reckless when I'm in Geo at next. And I use Vampirism at Zamorak because it makes it a lot easier, especially with range, because I just get slapped about by Zamorak. But sure, I use them, but in general, you don't need auras to do PVM. Do they help? Yes, but they're not a hard requirement to do PVM. Because a lot of people seem to think that they're actually hard requirements to do PVM, but that's just not true, so debunked yet again. Next up, endgame players' advice sucks. I see a lot of people that think, oh, you are an endgame player, so you don't know what my struggle is like, and, you know, your advice doesn't help because, you know, me going to Geo next is not going to get me to your position. Well, it does, because that's what we used to do. The reason why we give that advice is because it works. That's like cliche, like cliches in general as well. People are like, oh yeah, that's such a cliche. And I'm like, yeah, because it works. That's the whole point of a cliche. Makes it a cliche because, you know, it's common knowledge that it's true. Look, if I'm telling you that if you have, you know, about a couple of mil GP to do shop runs every single day to just get your cash up initially, that will help your account. If I tell you to then go to Geo next, if you have a friend that you can go Geo next to, go to Geo next. And if I tell you to learn Crosis because it makes you a buttload of money, then go Crosis or do clue scrolls or whatever advice or any other high level player gives you, because it works. That's how we got here. And, you know, we are very much aware if those methods still work because, you know, we're very much interested, at least I am, to see if people can still get to where I am with the, you know, piece of content that I used. And some of them even got better over time. Like Crosis just gets better and better because, you know, Cripploom becomes more and more relevant. And the same goes with clue scrolls because clue scrolls are always great and they fluctuate and they're amazing content and I love them. But it works, so that's why we give you the advice, and that's why let me just be honest, like, certain endgame players be like, oh yeah, just do Zuck, or just do AOD or whatever. Sure, that is terrible advice, but a lot of endgame players just tell you to go next, or to tell you to do clue scrolls or Crosis or whatever, and, you know, force yourself to learn those bosses, because I know it's not easy, especially Crows, because it's in a group. Go into a big instance, go check out my Crows guide as well, and after that, try and find a 4-man via the CC. Just be honest about you being a learner, and everything will be fine. You'll be raking in the millions and even billions of gold in no time. So, yet again, debunked. Next up, MTX affects your gameplay. Yeah, I just had to throw it in because I love this discussion. Look, MTX does not affect your gameplay because RuneScape is not a competitive game, period. Look, honestly, MTX, sure, it sucks. Like, let's be honest, we would all rather not have it in. It is there, we talked about it, I bring it up a lot, it is what it is, right? It's just there. But it doesn't affect your gameplay. It doesn't affect you at all, to be honest, because, look, if I spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on MTX, sure, I might be able to boost my levels up. But then again, RuneScape is generally just a solo, you know, game. And with new skills where the actual competition lays, there's no MTX involved for the first 6 months. And by 6 months, there's so many ranks that whatever rank you can get via MTX doesn't even matter anymore because, you know, people don't care about you being ranked 568 because people care about you being in the top 100 for a new skill or whatever. So MTX doesn't really affect you. The only way it would affect you, for example, is if through MTX I can actually get an FSOA a lot quicker than you can. But in general, if you know how to PVM, I mean, unless you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a promo where you can get the 200 mil drop, which is extremely rare, sure, you could argue that it's true, but then again, MTX would only affect you if you can get an FSOA a lot quicker via Treasure Hunter than I can through gameplay. And trust me, I can get it a lot quicker than you would ever be able to get it via MTX through gameplay. And just a good example to give, in Call of Duty at some point, I could get better weapons through MTX than you could through general gameplay. That is when it would suck, and that is when it affects your gameplay. You only make it affect your gameplay because you let it affect it, and it doesn't actually affect it. That's just my opinion. Debunked. And lastly, RuneScape is dying. It's not wrong. RuneScape is quite alive. Sure, RuneScape 3 doesn't have the 100,000 players online at the same time anymore. And sure, we're not peaking like we did at around Corona time, or the, I need to actually censor that out. The actual, illness, whoopie whoopty whoop time. Because sure, everyone was at home, no one had anything to do, there was just a new skill release, the hype was really high for RuneScape, so sure, we were at a peak, but in general, having about 20k average players online at pretty much any given time for any video game is actually quite decent. That is actually quite good. And sure, old school RuneScape has a lot more players than RuneScape 3 does, and sure, at the peak of RuneScape, there were a lot more players as well. But then again, if you see the money that RuneScape is raking in, they're doing a fantastic job. And if you see all the amazing content, and obviously I know there's MTX drama, and I know there's drama, but just think that away for a second. I made a video on all the amazing content they release, so go check that out if you want to. But look, there's so much good content. This game is thriving, it is alive, and they're doing a great job with it. It is far from dying. It is alive. RuneScape, sure, the player base fluctuates up and down a little bit, but overall, I feel like if you have 20k average players online at any point, peaking at around 30-35k, I'm pretty sure in the weekends, and especially during double experience, you get higher peaks even. That's not a dying game. Sure, it's not as successful as it used to be, but that is a very much alive game, at least in my opinion. So those are some assumptions that I thought I would just debunk or just talk about in this video. Yet again, it's not about me just debunking some of them. They can also just be very, very true. So as I said in the intro, if you have any assumptions that you want to share, if I have like 5 or 6 and this video does really, really well, then I will genuinely, do another episode or another video on it, because I genuinely really do like doing this video. So let me know in the comment section down below what your assumptions are. If you enjoyed it, leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, and my name is Chevalric, and I'll see you guys in my next video.